Imagine taking creatine because it's said to be excellent at maximizing muscle gains and strength, only for you to not see or feel any difference in your body. Jesus, am I fat? Have you ever thought that you might be using it the wrong way? Creatine has been extensively studied regarding its positive effects on muscular strength, size, and body composition. That said, just taking creatine won't automatically lead to good results. Certain things, apart from the obvious not drinking enough water, may be the very reason your creatine supplementation isn't working as it should be. So let's get straight into it. By the way, one of you asked in the comment section if you should be mixing creatine with your protein shakes, so I'll talk more on that in a little bit. Number 1, you're not sticking to just one form of creatine. Creatine is popular among bodybuilders, athletes, and regular gym goers, and for good reasons. One is its effectiveness in adding muscle mass, as shown in this research. But with so many forms of creatine available nowadays, it can be quite confusing to pick out which one to use. There's creatine nitrate or creatine HCl that some brands claim to not cause bloating. There's also creatine monohydrate, which has been tried and tested by many. Which should you choose, or is it more beneficial to use 2 or more forms? The short answer is to pick just one. Don't do both simultaneously, otherwise you're likely to consume insufficient dosages, causing you to miss out on its benefits. In my case, I'm team creatine monohydrate and won't be switching anytime soon. The benefits of using this form of creatine are backed by numerous research studies. Of course, you can still have a good experience with the other creatine forms. The final decision is all up to you. Regardless of the variation, always ensure that you're taking it consistently and at the correct dosages. Be patient and give it enough time to show its magic. Using more than one form of creatine is bad enough. But you know what's even worse? It's when, number 2, you're doing the wrong kind of workouts. Creatine is best known for enhancing fitness performance. As such, endurance training or cardio are unlikely to result in any benefits. 3 systems oversee the energy production of the body, as in the form of ATP. The primary system that operates during resistance training and other short-period activities like sprinting is the ATP-PCR system. From there, creatine phosphate is made available for the cells to use, and ATP production occurs. Although this system creates energy at a remarkably quick rate, there are only limited stores of creatine phosphate, which will be used to give energy for about 10 to 15 seconds. Creatine phosphate will be replenished within 3 to 5 minutes. The human body produces its own creatine. The problem is, in exchange, about 2 grams of creatine get excreted daily. This is where proper diet and supplementation come into play to promote the production of creatine. One of the best things about taking creatine is its ability to boost resting concentrations of creatine phosphate, giving you the strength to do short-term, high-intensity activity for a longer duration. In the long run, this can turn into a few more reps before fatigue sets in. On the other hand, moderate-intensity endurance workouts don't use the ATP-PCR system. Therefore, you may not see a huge change in your performance with creatine supplementation. Instead, go for resistance workouts with 3 to 12 reps, or anaerobic training with working intervals of 10 to 15 seconds, as these will best emphasize the pros of creatine. Just like hydration is crucial to optimize your training results, it also plays a major role in maximizing the use of creatine. More about this in a little bit. Number 3, you expect creatine to be a cure-all. Creatine is a reliable supplement. However, it's far from being a miracle worker. You can't expect your strength or size to get big after you've started taking creatine when you're just sitting all day long. Expecting instant and significant effects just because you started taking creatine will only lead you to disappointment. The truth is, creatine stores take a long time to be full in muscle cells. From there, you'll notice a gradual boost in your training performance, translating to extra reps and sets, ultimately increasing your overall training volume. And over time, all of those will help you improve your strength, body composition, and training performance. Not only is creatine not a miracle worker, but taking it only before a workout is a mistake and would hinder your progress. Number 4, you think taking creatine pre-workout is enough. With all of the positive research supporting the use of creatine, it's now being added to other products like pre-workouts. Given the numerous research backing the advantages of creatine, it's no wonder why many brands use it in their pre-workout products. However, relying only on those pre-workout creatine won't give you enough. In reality, a lot of pre-workout brands underdose creatine. For instance, brand A gives 1 to 2 grams of creatine. That alone is hardly enough to feel any difference in your body since the recommended dose is 5 grams. Moreover, if you're not used to taking pre-workout creatine, you're likely to come up short even more. How to fix this? Get a tub of creatine. It's economical. not to mention unflavored, allowing you to easily mix it with any drink. That's the first step. Next is to do the loading technique. Option 1. Take 20 grams of creatine a day divided into 4 equal doses over 5 to 7 days, after which follow a low-dose maintenance phase of 5 grams daily. This is the quickest way to top off creatine stores, taking only about a week. There's a catch though. It may cause a little bloating due to the increased water intake. Option 2. This method takes longer to get maximum creatine stores. The good news, however, is that there's slimmer chance of weight gain or bloating. You just need to take 5 grams of creatine daily. That's it. The human body is much more capable than we think when it comes to building muscle. Like creatine, testosterone is naturally produced by the body, and sometimes a little push from external forces is necessary to tap into their full potential. Luckily, there are ways you can boost your T levels for maximum muscle gains, but I'll get into that in a while. Number 5. You're not drinking enough water. Creatine supplementation isn't without some water weight. In fact, many people gain around 2 to 4 pounds from water retention in the first week. But don't worry, water weight is actually a good indication that creatine is working. Creatine works by pulling more water into the muscles, resulting in bigger and fuller muscles. Through water, your muscles stay hydrated, which is vital to continue fueling your body during workouts and throughout the day. Therefore, you must ensure that your body gets a surplus of water when you're on creatine supplements. I recommend adding 300 to 5 milliliters of water for a 5-gram creatine. And overall, aim for 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Let's say you're drinking enough water, and yet your body isn't showing any positive effect from creatine. Let me guess, you're doing this. Number 6, you're drinking too much caffeine. Too much caffeine is a quick way of hindering your body from getting optimal creatine absorption. Caffeine is a natural diuretic that can cause dehydration. When your body detects caffeine, it signals your pituitary gland to inhibit the secretion of vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH. As a result, the kidneys absorb less water, and more water is expelled through urination. I'm not saying to stop drinking coffee because your average cup of coffee isn't strong enough to dehydrate. What can interfere with how well creatine can do its job is when you consume caffeine in other ways, say through caffeine supplements. Since you've reached this part of the video, let me answer some of your FAQs about creatine supplementation. Number 1, can I mix creatine with protein? Creatine and protein have an excellent synergy. Creatine is primarily used to enhance performance in high-intensity, short-duration exercises, while protein is vital for muscle growth and recovery. Additionally, experts have found no adverse interaction between creatine and protein. So when should they be taken then? You have 2 options. First off, you can take them together. Taking creatine with protein can be beneficial, especially if you have a varied and balanced diet and are engaged in regular, intense physical activity. Scenario number 2 is to take them at different times to maximize their respective absorption. For instance, you can take creatine before training to boost your performance, and then protein for post-workout to facilitate recovery. 2. Will creatine cause problems with my kidneys, blood sugar, or muscle mass? One of the best things about creatine is it's constantly studied for its effectiveness and safety. In fact, creatine is one of the most researched sports supplements out there. It's why many health experts and trainers support the use of creatine. Plus, there's no published literature to suggest it's unsafe. Reports of kidney damage, blood sugar concerns, heart problems, muscle cramps and pulls, dehydration, and diarrhea were all anecdotal. Nevertheless, to be safe, use creatine only if you're healthy and have no kidney problems. Remember, it's your kidneys that do the heavy work to excrete creatinine, a breakdown product of creatine. 3. Do I need to take creatine? Technically speaking, you don't need to supplement with creatine, just as our bodies produce creatine. The chemical is also naturally found in various foods, such as this, and this. Particularly for those who have a varied diet that includes a little bit of meat, you'll be consuming and building plenty of creatine. Creatine does amazing things when taken correctly, but avoiding all those mistakes isn't all there is in the muscle building process. A big part of this process also lies in the state of your testosterone levels. Learn how to increase your T levels in this next video, so make sure to watch it afterwards.